Sword International's Fireside Chat. My name is Jeremy Elrod, and I'll be your guide as we cover the Mark 18 Mod 1. First of all, the Mark 18 Mod 1 is chambered in 300 Norma, 338 Norma, and 338 Lapua. You can change calibers by simply changing the upper receiver and utilizing the same bolt carrier assembly. Another cool feature is a custom tuned suppressor system made by Sword International with quick release capability that attaches directly to our compensator that comes standard with the gun. The compensator will help reduce recoil and muzzle flip and allow for a much more pleasant experience when shooting the big bore caliber rounds. Just behind that we have our adjustable gas block. It's 3 positions: regular, suppressed, and closed. Regular is obviously for standard operation without a suppressor. Suppress is for a suppress setting to reduce gas in the system when running the suppressor. And close will allow you to take a fully suppressed shot or run the gun as a bolt action rifle. Just behind that we have our free floating rail assembly. It's M-LOK compatible at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock position while having a full 12 o'clock Picatinny to allow mounting thermals, etc. Another cool feature on the gun is the forward non-reciprocating charging handle. You can see here, charging handle lays down flat, out of the way, won't catch on gear. Take the gun out of battery. It's as simple as that, it goes back down flat. I have my ambi bolt catch bolt release here at the base of the trigger well, but outside the trigger well, so I can safely lock my bolt to the rear and drop it. I have an ambi selector lever and magazine catch in the same position on both sides. A couple interesting facts about trigger compatibility and selector compatibility on this rifle is that you can use any standard AR-10 components. So whether that's your selector levers, various trigger groups, it's compatible from the trigger group back with standard AR components. Let's take a jaunt to the range and watch a video, and we'll be back shortly. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to cover a few more critical features on the Mark 18 Mod 1. We'll start with our 10-round double stack magazine. It's a proprietary magazine specific for the Mark 18. The magazine spring has been tuned for the bolt carrier velocity of the Mark 18, making sure that we get those rounds fed up and out in front of the bolt. The feed lift angles ensure that the round is fed directly into the chamber, so we're reducing any damage that you might get on the brass, and we're also preventing bending the bullet at all, which is going to affect our accuracy. It is made out of 7075 billet aluminum. It is type 3 hard coat anodized, and we use a dry film lubricant to ensure smooth operation, both clean and should it get dirty, so we're reducing that friction between the follower and the magazine body itself. So that's a little bit about the proprietary magazine for the Mark 18. Then we'll get into one of the more critical features, I think, of the gun, especially as far as safety is concerned, and that's the bolt carrier assembly. So first in the bolt carrier assembly, we have dual ejectors. The dual ejectors will ensure that we get that big heavy brass outside of the gun, outside of the ejection port, and that's going to reduce malfunctions such as stovepipes. We have an enhanced extractor designed for the 300, 338 rounds, so that we're going to grip as much of that brass as possible, but we're going to do it in such a way that we're not going to pull that head off, we're not going to damage that head, especially once the gun breaks in. You'll see that this bolt assembly keeps the brass really clean and reloadable. Past that point, there's a drop safety. The drop safety is critical if you want to hand load rounds and drop this big heavy carrier forward. You won't get light strikes, you won't get NDs. You'll see in some AR-10 and big bore caliber rifles that use an AR style carry assembly because you have that free floating firing pin coming forward under force. Some of those will use just a safety spring. The problem with the safety spring is if it gets damaged, if it wears out at all, you're going to start getting those light primer strikes, and then that will lead to eventually an ND. So here you'll see that the drop safety is built in on the side. What that allows us to do is use most, if not all, off-the-shelf AR-10 trigger groups, whether they're competition or standard mil-spec style trigger groups. And that way it works is the hammer's just going to come forward, push this drop safety out of the way, and then strike the firing pin. The firing pin's allowed to go forward. Once it resets, it'll catch again. If I was to drop my rifle, whether I was fast roping or climbing, whatever the case may be, if I was to drop my rifle nose down, it'll prevent any type of ND from taking place, so long as my weapon's on safe and my hammer stays cocked. So I think that's one of the more critical features on the gun that makes it unique and more safe. It also has a retained firing pin, retaining pin, so it's retained by a detent. It makes it easy to use. Pull out, lock back into place. It's also a little bit more robust than a pin, so you shouldn't see any bending or failures as far as that goes. The finish is very important on this. All of the critical rise surfaces are hand polished prior to coating, and then it's coated with a nitride so that it has built-in lubricity and increases the outside strength of the carrier assembly. So that's a little bit about the Mark 18's carrier assembly. Moving on to a couple features that we didn't cover before that are also available upgrades. The forward assist comes standard on the rifle. It works similar to how a standard AR configuration will work. So anybody that's used to running an AR type rifle will have that muscle memory built in, and that's right there for them to use. The other thing is the modular stock assembly. So this is an upgrade that you can get on the Mark 18 Mod 1. You can also get it on the Mark 18 Mod 0. It does not come standard, but it does work with the standard PRS Gen 3 stock. It does come standard with the rifle. So what I can do with this modular stock assembly is go ahead and remove my PRS Gen 3. We cheated a little bit to make it easier for filming here. I go ahead and pull this out. I have a screw that's at the back of the receiver extension. And then once those are removed, I can go ahead and slide my PRS Gen 3 off. Take any mil-spec compatible carbine style stock assembly. Go ahead and install that into place. And what you'll find is the rifle has a 10-position SR25 style receiver extension that allows me to run a carbine-based stock or transition back to my more precision fixed stock with my adjustable cheek weld, adjustable length of pull. So that's a little bit about the Mark 18 Mod 1. I hope it was informative. Please let us know if you have any questions. You can see the email address at the bottom of the screen, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks again, and talk next time.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Fireside Chats. We appreciate the support. My name is Chris. I'll be on some of the videos with Jeremy. Jeremy's our resident expert on the weapon systems, so be looking for him and more information in the future on our weapon systems and calibers, why we use certain rounds for different platforms, accuracy, how to get out to 1,000 yards or 2,000 yards when you're sitting at 400 or 300 right now. So stay tuned for what's coming down the pipe. And follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, share these YouTube videos to anybody you think might be interested. Thanks again for the support, and we'll see you next time on episode 3.